You're smart and you usually have several higher education degrees. You see right through people. You're even called a psychologist at work, or maybe you actually have a degree in it. But then the question is, why is there no fulfillment? Why is it that every time you try to build a relationship, you start saving the man, usually at your own expense? Yes, at first you like the fact that you were in control of everything, managing everything. You understand everything. You've even understood everything since childhood. But the older you get, the more you want fulfillment, your own fulfillment. Not to manage the household, but for everyone to mind their own business. And above all, so that you have your own business. Recognize yourself? Write in the comments. If you were born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th of September, or perhaps your destiny number or life path number is a 9, then I think this video can change or will even change your life and your destiny. I'm not even afraid to say it. Be sure to watch the video in its entirety. Throughout the video, I will be giving recommendations, and perhaps someone's example will serve as that point from which you can push off. After all, as a rule, stories are as similar to each other as 2 drops of water, and in someone else's story, you will see yourself and find a solution. What is so special about the number 9? 9 is the sage. And as a rule, you have possessed this wisdom since childhood. Remember how you try to tell adults even about the structure of the world or try to explain things in your own words, but as a rule, they laughed at you. Unfortunately, most parents don't pay attention to their children's talents, and then it becomes a problem. It's not because the parents are to blame. Yes, they raised them as best they could. Of course, most parents wanted the best for their children. But if you slowly suppress such a wise, deep child, then later you have to start over at 35, for some at 40, at 45, start all over again. There are really a lot of such stories. And women who really possess this depth come for consultation and training. They understand everything. But the problem is almost always the same. I understand everything, but what should I do with all of this? Let's look into this. Yes, you could say you're natural-born psychologists. You see right through people. You understand the meaning of every event. And it's vital that you start applying this meaning right now in the present, because with age, there's this concept of life wisdom. So your main task now, if you're already 35 plus, is to step into this state of life wisdom. Move away from, I know how, so you must do it exactly like this, toward being able to observe, right? Like a grandmaster watching the chess, bored, anticipating the opponent's move several steps ahead and already calculating their own moves. Embrace this state of being. Yes, you are a grandmaster. You're the person who sees several steps ahead. And bet on this, your best quality. If you were born in September, you truly have this depth from birth. This also applies to the 9th and the 27th. It's a special trait that shows this depth. The 18th has its own part, right? But the 27th, the 9th, and September, you know, it's like little sages who brought this wisdom with them, right? With them. Even, well, you could say from past lives, for those who believe we reincarnate more than once. Well, if you don't believe that, you can just say your task now is to learn how to distribute everything. And those born on the 18th, well, they're like modern-day Amazons. Yes, you could say that in one of their past incarnations, they were commanders-in-chief who were in charge, yes, in charge everywhere. And often this ability carries over to the present. Why? Well, because parents often raise such girls like boys. Yes, like boys. So if you recognize yourself in this, let me know in the comments. And this is, yes, a specific problem that also needs to be solved. I often say that a woman doesn't strive, a woman receives. For those born on the 18th, this is probably the biggest challenge. Why? Because the strength and power of 1 and 8 always drive you forward. These are masculine numbers, and that's clear. So I just recommend remembering that if your soul chose the role of a woman, then it's best to walk this path as a woman. By the way, people often ask, what is a woman? Should I just sit here and cry? Not once. After all, a woman is fulfillment. A woman already arrives as a formed personality. I often say this too. But a man arrives scattered. He needs to be put together like a model kit. But a woman already arrives complete. So it's much easier for her to move through life. Well, that's probably the main reason why people try to belittle women, right? And suppress their talents. So you just need to understand that you have many talents. Therefore, your first and most important talent is wisdom. The biggest mistake is being too smart for your own good. It's that you try to help everyone. And with men, when you meet them, right, you want to start a family, but you rush in trying to help right away. You understand how, you know how to do it. And you think, well, I'll give him a hint and then he'll, take it from there. Well, a miracle usually doesn't happen. And a man, when people start doing everything for him, absolutely everything, he either becomes a burden or, well, he starts thinking about leaving, because a man also needs self-realization after all. And he also wants to be the one making decisions. So the main primary reason why relationships don't work out is being too smart for your own good. You don't need to save everyone. Yes, you have that need. You're a psychologist and this profession suits you, and numerology suits you 100%. And if you need a tool to help people, well, you can master the numerical psychoanalysis taught in our school. And by the way, we provide systems that are emerging now, opening up based on my nearly 20 years of experience. And you can take this tool and start helping people in practice. You'll have a foundation, you'll be able to rely on the date of birth. And if you're a psychologist, you can get an extra tool by studying, yes, the numerical psychoanalysis we teach. We have female psychologists studying with us, and they don't always tell their clients that we use the date of birth. Well, because, there are some biased attitudes, but they use this tool, and it's their own words that the quality of the consultation improves significantly. I immediately see the person's problem. So what should you do so that your life, becomes higher quality? Stop helping everyone indiscriminately. Remember the phrase, you can only save someone who wants to be saved. Help those who really wants this help and who you can actually help. But first of all, you need to help yourself. Stop doing everything for everyone and making decisions. I would recommend finding a hobby that will, inspire you. What's important for a 9, right? After all, our head is like a council of experts, but you need to find a way out and start speaking. Talk about what you know. After all, you're a natural-born teacher. I'd say you're a natural-born mentor. The head is our upper center, right? So you can immediately influence a large number of people. Think about what you can give, what experience you can start passing on even now. From this perspective, from your age and experience. If you don't have that experience, but you have a need to help, again, you can take our tool and use it in life. Start from there. Take my word for it. Everyone who comes for training with 9s, with strong 9s, has practically the same problem. Woe from wit. It's funny, they all laugh at themselves later, well, in a good way. They say, how well you sort everything out. It all just clicked. Now you can walk freely, throw off this burden of knowledge. Understand that it's important to know what you need to know today, right now, and move on. And your relationships will improve. Why? Because you'll know the person, you'll know their date of birth, and you'll understand what to expect from them. Now we've started teaching the topic of archetypes, numerological archetypes, not Jungian or anything else, but specifically numerological archetypes. Well, you could say it's a numerological personality design. When you see a person, the whole picture just comes together, right? Easy, simple, accessible for absolutely anyone. Whoever wants to go further, please, you can study numerology in depth. For many, even this will be enough to understand themselves and those around them. The next step is to find a hobby. Why do I recommend it? It could be dance or it could be vocals, because vocals help to bring it out, from within, to bring out the knowledge you have, to at least take a step then. And when the voice starts to resonate, with the body, a person's possibilities sort of open up. This is also one of the significant effects. Plus, if you also have nines in your birth year, for example, 1980 or 1989, or even just, for example, nines at the end of the year, like 1979. Those born in 79 are natural-born psychologists. If it's 80 or 89, it's also closer to the Amazons, when it's like, I'll do it myself. So try to remove this. I'll do it myself from your life. Shift into the role of an observer. Try to learn before making a decision or taking a step, to step aside and observe from the outside. There's this phantom practice, right, where you stop and sort of shift yourself and observe. Many people have started using this to exhale, right, before making a decision or saying something, and step back. Even just stepping aside, in your head, right, with your consciousness, step aside. And over time, you won't have that urge to just plow through, but little by little, you'll start to move. And you'll move from, a vector state into a state of, this breadth of mind. And you'll realize that being a rescuer, right, it's not just a mission. Yes, you are rescuers, truly rescuers of human souls, but rescuers right here, right? When you can pass on knowledge, not by dictating, right, but by simply showing a person the way. And then family relationships will fall into place. And then someone will appear by your side who will understand you and whom you will understand. And even that, I wouldn't call it a mission. I'd call it a need to help. It will be fulfilled for you. And you'll see your path, because right now, behind the screen of this must, where to run in the emotions, you just don't see this direction. So come along and we'll figure it out. You can come for a consultation, or you can order a video map. There's a format where I record everything you need to know based on your birth date, answering your questions. You provide the questions in advance, and I answer them based on your date of birth. And you receive a ready-made video guide for your life. The same can be done for children. For example, if you have children with nines, you'll know how to communicate with them. Yes, and your child will immediately start developing in the right direction. Or if you're on the verge of a life-changing decision, this consultation, video map, or training, even just try studying the archetype system. It's quite simple, rich in content, yet easy to use and understand. And you can start with it and see how it changes your life. You will see those nuances that were simply hidden behind the screen. Many women have already resolved this issue through consultation or training, answered their most important questions, and saw their fulfillment. And it will help you. It will definitely help you. And you will see and find yourself. Everything is there. All the links are in the description of this video. Of course, if you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up, share this video. For someone, this could also be the key to making decisions. And of course, come along. Come for consultations, for training. We will definitely find your fulfillment, and you will definitely answer your questions. Get the answer to your questions. And you can write your opinion about this video in the comments. Yes, I'll be glad. Or if you have any questions, write them down. I'll try to answer them in future videos. And I'll say goodbye to you just for now, until next time.